Hello, YouTube video, sound testing, check 1, 2. Hello, hello, hello.
Live testing, Facebook testing. Hello, check 1 2. Hello, check audio testing 1 2 3. Live testing Facebook. Hello, check. Hello, check audio testing. Live testing Facebook, check. Live testing Facebook, check. Hello, check. Hello, check, check.
सर की तो इधर नहीं हो रही ना, आगे हो गया। नरेश बुलाओ। नहीं नहीं नरेश नहीं, जैनम चाहिए। हाँ वो ये बीच में आने वाला है। हाँ बस टाइम है। अच्छा वो किस साइड आ गया?
What my speech is on?
I declare the convocation open.
या कुन्देन्दु तुषारहारधवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रामृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युतशङ्कर प्रभृतिभिर्देवैः सदा वन्दिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निशेष जाड्यापहा.
Our chief guest, Professor Kaushik Basu, Director, Professor Errol D'Souza, distinguished members of the faculty, graduating students, proud parents, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to all of you. Let me first of all thank our chief guest, Professor Kaushik Basu, for being with us. He, as you know, is India's most illustrious economist and one whom I respect both for his depth of knowledge and his intellectual integrity. He is indeed an economist in the real world, as his book so rightly captures. Unlike some economists who often complicate simple concepts and theories, Professor Basu is a master in not just development economics and game theory, but also in everyday economics. Only he can explain the concept of diminishing marginal utility by using the example of newspapers and chocolates. Ever wondered why it is that airports make newspapers and not chocolates freely available? Well, that's because in the case of newspaper, the utility of the second newspaper is virtually zero. Not so for chocolate. That's everyday economics from Professor Basu for us. What's also striking about him is that he is as much as he's discussing econometrics as he is sporting a Dorothy Parker t-shirt. He is not just a top-notch economist, but also a doting grandfather. Welcome to the campus, Professor Basu. Now let me turn my attention to the graduating class of 2019. My heartfelt congratulations to all of you for having earned the most coveted degree in India. Over the last couple of years, I've had the opportunity of interacting with IIMA's board, faculty, and of course, some of the students. And I would say that every interaction has uplifted me and left me with hope. I consider it a privilege to be chairing the board of this iconic institution. Dear students, this is a day of celebration and of hope. This is also a day of nostalgia. Think about how you reacted over 2 years ago when you figured you had made it to IIMA. Who was there to share that priceless moment with you? Did it feel surreal? Sometimes in our quest for glory, we often forget where it all started. Today is a good day to remember that. For those of you wondering if this is the end, I'm here to tell you that this isn't. Your association with this institution transcends the 2 years that you have spent here. This is now a lifelong bond, just like the friendships you have struck on campus. Today, the Institute performs its most important annual ritual, offering India its next generation of leaders. You are the reason I'm so optimistic about the future of India. Before I invite Professor Basu to deliver the convocation address, I'm going to use this opportunity to offer a few reflections on leadership based on my own experience and learnings over the years. These are simple leadership lessons that I have followed and would encourage you to consider. First up is the courage quotient, which I call CQ. To succeed in today's fiercely competitive and disruptive landscape, you need to complement IQ and EQ with CQ, which is the courage quotient. I actually came up with a business definition of courage whilst addressing our top management team a few months ago. Simply said, for me, courage is the ability to act decisively so that we can control change. Change is perhaps, as we know, the only constant in business and indeed in life. So the one quality I believe you need to have to navigate change is courage. You need courage not just to take bold decisions, but also to act on out-of-the-box ideas. Courage is often mistaken as bravado. To the contrary, I would argue that meticulous planning is often the key to demonstrating courage. You need to plan your work and work your plan to exhibit courage. Business today is nothing short of a battle, and any battle-hardened veteran will tell you that courage is what it takes. Next up, God is in the details. Having done more than 500 case studies in the last 2 years, I'm sure that all of you are well versed with the intricacies of business strategy. But do not romanticize strategy like I did as a fresh MBA. And most definitely, do not make the mistake of taking only a helicopter view of business at the start of your career. In other words, pay attention to detail, because along with the devil, even the God resides in detail. I wonder how many of you have heard this famous story. Steve Jobs once called the engineer behind Google on a Sunday to discuss an urgent issue over the Google logo in the iPhone. Apparently, the second O in Google didn't have the right yellow gradient. The second O. So my advice to all of you would be obsess about the detail as much as you would over the strategy. My next reflection is a simple one: no shortcuts. As you embark on your career, remember that you will always be confronted with two choices, one of which will always be a shortcut. Tempting as it may be, I would advise you never to fall for the trap. Sometimes you may want to give in, just as an exception, because you are impatient for results. By doing so, you would have subconsciously given yourself the license to do it again. And before you realize it, it could well become a way of life. Look around and you will realize that the most successful business leaders have made it by the sheer dint of their hard work. Indira Nui worked midnight to 5 a.m. as a receptionist to earn money while getting her master's degree at Yale University. Jeff Immelt spent 34 years working 100 hours a week. Surely they didn't believe in shortcuts. And no matter how cliched it might sound, there is no substitute to hard work. And trust me, 20 years from now, when you look back at all of your memorable wins, none of them will be on account of a shortcut. On to my next point then, humility earns respect. Unlike the perception at times, I don't believe that success and humility need to have an inverse relationship. I'd argue, in fact, that the more successful you are, the more important it is to stay humble and grounded. In fact, I would go to the extent of saying that the language of arrogance has diminishing returns today. The father of our great nation, Mahatma Gandhi, captured the essence of humility very aptly when he once said, "Humility is not thinking less of yourself, it is thinking of yourself less." I do believe that ambition, power, money, fame should rest firmly on the shoulders of humility. And finally, a learning on failure. Failure is never fatal. Failure is, in fact, inevitable. If you don't fail, it perhaps means that you're not taking enough risks. However, it is the swiftness with which you react to failure that will determine whether it is a debilitating blow or a sobering lesson. I can't think of a more inspirational story than that of Alibaba's Jack Ma. I'm not sure how many of you are aware that he failed in his primary examinations not once but twice. He was rejected by Harvard 10 times. Out of 24 candidates, he was the only one to be turned away at a job in KFC. And before Alibaba, he attempted 2 different business ventures, failing at both. Those were the list of his failures, and here's the list of his success. He created Alibaba, period. The larger point I'm trying to make is that we all fail, we all make mistakes. The key is not to be oblivious to our mistakes. When you make a mistake, you have, I believe, three choices. You can be in denial, you can let it cripple you, or you can acknowledge the error, take swift corrective action, and learn from the mistake. The choice is yours. I hope these thoughts help you prepare for a tomorrow that's going to be exciting and challenging in equal measure. But alas, tomorrow can wait. Today, after all, is not just another day. So soak in the glory, allow the happiness to sink in, and relive the wonderful memories one more time. I'm sure the last 2 years have been an exhilarating ride. Even as you relive that journey, don't forget to thank all those who have made it possible. Your parents, this is as much their moment as it is yours. Your teachers who have given the best to you, and of course this iconic institution that has given you such a head start in your career and in life. If you haven't already, you will realize it come tomorrow. And speaking of tomorrow, well, tomorrow I'm betting on all of you. Good luck and good speed.
Candidates of the doctoral program in management, please rise. The candidates will individually receive their degrees from the Chairperson, IIMA Board of Governors, as I call their names. Then return to their seats and remain standing in front of their chairs until all the candidates of the program have received their degrees and the Chairperson has conferred the degrees on them. The candidates would then bow and sit down. Anita Kirai. Antecedents and consequences of top management team's power structure in a family business context. Ankur Kapoor, the impact of non-volitional interferences on product evaluation and choice. Nidhi Mishra, the trajectory of forgiveness in workplace bullying, a hermeneutic phenomenological study of target coping. Kwambar Abidi, regulatory reforms and state supervised corporate bankruptcy reorganization. Sai Chittaranjan Kalubandi, essays on the internal markets of business groups. Sakina H. Poonawalla, essays on audit committee and board composition. Samudra Sen, higher education in India, efficiency, quality and sustainability. Sambet Kuril, change in leadership behavior through online professional development program, contextualizing community based on identity, cohesion and intentionality. Shiba Kakkar, the influence of perception of performance management system and regulatory focus on work engagement. Sonali Jain, studies in Indian equity derivatives markets. Sudipta Mandal, toward a better understanding of negation and brand recall memory. Bidhi Avashia, development, climate change and Indian cities, framing and implementing policies. Deepak Maun, in absentia, collaborative learning in virtual space and learning in the physical workplace, the case of in-service public school teachers in India. Mr. Chairperson, I present Anita Kerai and 12 others who have fulfilled all the requirements for the award of the degree of Doctor of Philosophy and request the Indian Institute of Management Ahmedabad Board of Governors to confer the degree on them.
Members of the Board of Governors, may the degree be conferred on these candidates. By the authority given to me by the Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad Board of Governors, I confer on you the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, and I charge you that in your life, by word and deed, you prove yourselves worthy of it.
Thank you.
Candidates of the 2-year postgraduate program in management, please rise. The candidates will individually receive their degrees from the Chairperson IIMA Board of Governors as I call their names, then return to their seats and remain standing in front of the chairs until all the candidates of the program have received their degrees and the Chairperson has conferred the degrees on them. The candidates would then bow and sit down. Arzu Ramkaran Meena. Ashutosh Saini. Ashutosh Saini. Astha Vij. Ayush Agarwal. Abhinav Mishra. Abhiram Nakulapati. Abhishek Agarwal. Abhishek Kalantri. Abhishek Maurya. Abhishek Naulakha. Abhishek Prakash Jonsari. Abhishek Rai. Aditi Agarwal. Aditi Palekar. Aditya Balaji. Aditya Govil. Aishwarya Jali. Akanksha Chaudhary. Akanksha Verma. Akhil. Shubham Goyal. Akhil Garg. Akhila P. Akshaya Ganesh. Akshdeep Singh, Alina Natasha Almeida, Aman Kumar, Ambika Goyal, Amit, Amit Bhati, Amitabh Paul, Anil Kumar Shahi, Anang Swapnesh, Anchal Tatya, Aniket Lohia, Anirudh Patri, Anish Sood, Anjali Rai, Anjana Tirki, Angelina Tirki, Ankit Jain, Advani Manish Suresh, Ankit Jhawar, Ankit Rathor, Ankita, Ankita Khobragade, Anshul Anand, Anurag Bajaj, Anusha H. Lakavali, Anutosh Kushwaha, Apurva Diwan, Aparajita Sharma, Akil Priyank Aind, Aravind K, Archana V.L., Archit Agarwal, Archit Arora, Arpit Agarwal, Arpit Agrawal, Arunima Paricha, Arushi Jamaiyar, Arzu, Kshitij Jain, Ashish Agrawal, Ashish Amitabh Bharatwal, Ashish Jain, Ashutosh Agarwal, Ashutosh Kumar Agrawal, Ashwini Kumar, Atul Anand, Avinash Anand K, Avinandan Jwardar, Abula Agastya, Ayush Garg, Ayush Khaitan, Ayush Saraf, Ayush Vimal, Ayushi Mittal, B. Sai Deep, Babai Sarkar, Bhide Avanti Sanjay, Bhushan Barsagade, Biraja Malik, Vaibhav Bose, Baira Shetty Shashank Mohan, Chandavelu Sai Sweta, Chanchal Gupta, Chandra Sriram Kaushik, Chatla Srinivas Prakhyat, Chirag Kashyap, Chiranshu Mukesh Agarwal, D. Sharanya, Debashish Sahu, Deepraj, Deepti Prabhakaran, Devashish Gupta, Devavrat V. Valenchkar, Devidatta Nayak, Dhananjay Sureka, Dhananjay Tripathi, Dharanidharan A.S., Dhaval Thakkar, Dheravetu Mahesh Kumar, Dhruv Gupta, Dinde Vikrant Sudhakar, Divya Singh, Divyanshu Daksh, Divyanshu Jain, Diya Sen, Doshi Jainesh Prakash, Dudhe Pranjali Prakash, Immadi Shetty Sandeep Kumar, G.N. Nikita, Gaikwad Anike Sayaji Rao, Garvit Munjal, Garvit Singh Katiyar, Gaurav Birmiwal, Gaurav Sahai, Girish Rajendra Kumar Buj, Gopi Bonuboyna, Gautam Gopal C, Gautam Siddharthan M, Gudi Nihil Charan Reddy, Gyanani Chirag Naresh, Gayak Jain, Hanumantu Kaushik Dora, Harsh Agrawal, Harsh Kumar Singh, Harshit Raj, Harshita Tolia, Harsimran Singh, Himani Gupta, Himanshu Tandon, Ipsita Satpathy, Isaiah Vanshuva Rumnong, Isha Charak, Ishan Gupta, Itkiyal Pranav Sanjay, Iyer Akshay Gopalakrishnan, Jadhav Aniket Sandeep, Jitesh Dheerwal, Jose V. Jose, K. Prithvi, K. H. Vinay, Kantam Reddy Vivek, Karan Tyagi, Karthikeyan S, Karthik Pal, Kashika Lal, Kaustubh Hemant Modak, Kautuk Kushansh, Qazi Saif Iqbal, Ketki Gupta, Kevin Bharat Darji, Khare Kanishka Ashok, Kharat Kritika Kiran, Kaushik Chattopadhyay, Kratik Kailash Sanklecha, Kunnat Balakrishnan Rahul, Lakshay Gupta, Lal Fagsuwala Namte, Lijat Kumar Pradhan, Manasa S, Madan Lal Umesh Kumar, Maitreya R, Manas Agrawal, Manik Bajaj, Manisha Verma, Maram Mahidhar, Maulin Sapra, Mayank D. Rannanavre, Mayank Narayan, Mayank Pal, Mohammad Rashid Ijaz, Mikhail Sonam, Mikul Patel, Milind Vaish, Mitesh Kumar, Mithila Hegde, Mohammad Amin Mamuti, Mohit Mehrotra, Mohsina, Moksh Garg, Mukilan A, Munakala Sri Nihit, Muskan Rajoria, N. Kranti Tej, Nayak Om Narayan, Naitik Jain, Narayanan S, Naveen Chungoiwala, Naveen S, Naveen Sundara Balaji S, Naveen Raj KP, Nayan Bansal, Neeraj Thuta, Neha Suresh Bagle, Nidhi Bharti, Nikhil Aravind, Nikhil Yadav, Nimish Lalwani, Nisarg Om Prakash Agrawal, Nitesh Kumar, Nitin Kumar Gautam, Ozair Hamdani, P. Snigdha, Pa Vignesh Annamalai, Pala Deepti, Palak Chabda, Pankhania Utpak Kumar Harsukbhai, Prachi S. Sukhwani, Purte Akhilesh Nanakaram, Parul Sagar, Patil Ashish Balu, Patil Roshan Sunil, Pavan Ashok Malagimani, Pingle Gaurav Reddy, Piyush Raj, Poddar Anurag Prashanta, Ponmati V, Pooja Bordolai, Prachi Sahu, Pranav Tyagi, Praneeth Agarwal, Pranjal Mishra, Pranjal Gupta, Prashant Saini, Prateek S. Kumar, Prateek Sundiole, Pratham Ghail, Prateek Ramesh Menon, Pratibha Jain, Prateek Devidas Borkar, Pratyush Pandey, Pratyush Verma, Preeti, Prithvi T.R.G., Priya Kumari, Priya Brata Bhuyan, Priyanshi Gupta, Pooja Roy, Pulkit Garg, Puneet Jain, R.S. Chitulekha, Ra Khandelwal, Rachel Sheba Kujur, Rachita, Radha Manoj Kumar, Raghav Prapan, Raghav Shivaraman, Raghav Jhunjhunwala, Rahul Srivastav, Rajat Datta, Rajat S. Pipliwar, Ajinder Pal Singh, Rajkumar Srivastav, Ram Vivek M, Ranjit Sagar M, Rashmi Anand Teltumbre, Rima Bhagya, Revan Soni, Rhythm Parihar, Rhythm Sodhi, Richa Kumari Sinha, Rishabh Verma, Rishiraj Singh, Ritu Panwar, Rohit Singh, Rudresh Pandey, Rupal Jindal, S. Anand Kumar, S. Srinidhi, S. S. Yashwanti Soy, Sarthak Jajoria, Sagnik Day, Sadashiva Paripuran RM, Sahil Goyal, Sai Kiran A, Sakshi Tripathi, Sambhav Chopra, Sambhav Jain, Samiha Kapoor, Samrat Das, Samson Anto Kingsley S, Sandeep Barua, Sandeep Nongkingri, Sandeep Ramachandran, Sandeepan Bala, Sanganeria Apeksha Pradeep, Sanket Praful Sangani, Santosh Kumar Sharma, Sanyam Gupta, Sargun Sachdeva, Sarthak Nigam, Sarthak Sagar, Shashwat Panigrahi, Soumya Porwal, Saurabh Bansal, Saurabh Bansal, Saurabh Suryavanshi, Shaurya Sen, Sewang Yangsi Dorji Wanzalingpa, Sheikh Ajit, Shamik Datta, Shankar SP, Shantanu Vijay Tilak, Shashank Patidar, Shaurya Joshi, Shairi Dev Burman, Shikha Gupta, Shravya Pawar, Shanik Mehta, Shruti Lal, Shubham Chauhan, Shubham Goswami, Simarpreet Singh Mamik, Shubham Mehra, Shubhankar Gautam, Shuchi Agrawal, Shweta Sikdar, Siddharth Mathur, Sinduri Talwar, Sneha Kumar, Solanki Romani Rajendra, Samana Gautam, Somkuvar Sushant Yashwant, Sonar Maulik Prakash, Soumyadeep Ghosh, Sri Lakshmi Menon P, Shrikar Arikatla, Shrishti Gupta, Srishti Sachan, Srishti Biswas, Subradeep Sarkar, Sudhir Yadav, Sukhpal Singh, Sule Ashe Ajay, Sumiran Bhatia, Sundar Raghavan B, Suraj Tarinya, Sushant Khatri, Suyash Kumar, Swapnil Chauhan, Swati E, T. Giridharan, Taru Tekriwal, Tayade Pritesh Suresh, Taishete Pushkaraj Nitin, Tenzing Khedup, Thakur Rutuja Arun, Tejasvi Havisha Jamishetty, Sudeep Nayan Deka, Sushita Nandi, Udit Tiwari, Upasna Sakre, Utpal Kant, V. Raghuram, Vacha Brat, Vaibhav Gupta, Vaishali Rathod, Vaishnavi, Varsha Murli, Varun Gupta, Vatsalya Kumar, Vibhor Verma, Vibhu Rajiv Gupta, Vidit Garg, Vikas Chauhan, Vineet Gupta, Vivekanand Khotua, Vanya Kumar, Warlikar Vidula Umesh, Yash Maheshwari, Yashasvi Ajit Joshi, Yashaswini K, Yuvraj Singh Thind, Zishanul Haq, Dhruv Mittal, Gaurav Agarwal, K. Samarth, Prateek Kurkanchi, Sameer Mittal, Shatrughan Singh Bhati, Shivangi Karol, Shivani Garg, Erika Scarpa, and in absentia, Akshita Agarwal, Sebastian Bala, Manish Yadav, Shubhranshu Kathuria, Leonardo Vecchio, Fabio De Roma, Federico Riosi, Jan Marco Brizzolora, Massimo Malvestio, Wonder Kirin Hubum, and Jorge Patricio Cuayvar Benavides. Mr. Chairperson, I present Arzu Ramkaran Meena and 397 others who have fulfilled all the requirements for the award of the degree of Master of Business Administration and request the Indian Institute of Management Ahmedabad Board of Governors to confer the degree on them.
Members of the Board of Governors, may the degree be conferred on these candidates. By the authority given to me by the Indian Institute of Management Ahmedabad Board of Governors, I confer on you the degree of Master of Business Administration, and I charge you that in your life, by word and deed, you prove yourselves worthy of it.
The Indian Institute of Management Ahmedabad Gold Medal for Scholastic Performance has been awarded to the following candidates of the 2-year postgraduate program in management who will come forward as their names are called and receive the medals from the chief guest. Shubham Goyal. Advani Manish Suresh. Kshitij Jain.
Candidates of the 2-year postgraduate program in Food and Agribusiness Management, please rise. The candidates will individually receive their degrees from the Chairperson, IIMA Board of Governors, as I call their names, then return to their seats and remain standing in front of their chairs until all the candidates of the program have received their degrees and the Chairperson has conferred the degrees on them. The candidates would then bow and sit down. A. Vimal, Akash Kumar, Abhishek Chand, Aditi Ashish Ravani, Ajinkya Atkare, Amit Kumar Rai, Ankita Singh, Ashish Kumar Bura, Ashwin Krishna, Ashweta Kumari Singh, Deepak, Deepak Bansal, Geeta Baisla, Girish Yadav, Harsh Devra, Jariwala Abhishek Nimish Kumar, Karan Shah, Kevin John P.A., Madhumita V., Mandeep Kaur, Moksha, Mishra Jigyasa Praveen, Neha Tandon, Niklesh Parmar, Nitin MP, Nivedita Singh, Pooja Banga, Priyanka Verma, Rohan Bogra, Sanjukta Chakrabarti, Saubhagya Srivastava, Soumya Goswami, Seshadri Suresh, Sheeladitya Swarnakar, Saurish Nag, Srishti Singh, Shriyanka Adhikari, Subhashmita Dandasena, Surya S, Sushmita Chaudhary, Swati Kanungo, Tallari Chetan, Tejasvi Sahu, Umang Agarwal, Vedansh Jain. Mr. Chairperson, I present A. Vimal and 44 others who have fulfilled all the requirements for the award of the degree of Master of Business Administration, Food and Agribusiness Management, and request the Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad Board of Governors to confer the degree on them.
Members of the Board of Governors, may the degree be conferred on these candidates. By the authority given to me by the Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad Board of Governors, I confer on you the degree of Master of Business Administration, Food and Agribusiness Management, and I charge you that in your life, by word and deed, You prove yourselves worthy of it.
The Indian Institute of Management Ahmedabad Gold Medal for Scholastic Performance has been awarded to the following candidate of the 2-year postgraduate program in Food and Agribusiness Management, who will come forward as her name is called and receive the medal from the chief guest. Moksha.
Thank you. Candidates of the full-time one-year postgraduate program in management for executives, please rise. The candidates will individually receive their degrees from the Chairperson, IIMA Board of Governors, as I call their names, then return to their seats and remain standing in front of their chairs until all the candidates of the program have received their degrees and the Chairperson has conferred the degree on them. The candidates would then bow and sit down. Abhijit Datta. Abhilasha Hun. Avinav Dwivedi. Abhishek Jain. Abhishek Jha. Abhishek Kar. Abhishek Kumar. Abhishek Upadhyay. Achirangshu Garg. Aditya Srinivasan. Aditi Priya. Aditya Malhotra. Ajay Sabnani. Ajay Belsare. Akshat Tiwari. Alay Shah. Aman Kumar. Amit Sinha. Amrit Mohanty. Anand Ashokan. Ronit Bhattacharya. Anant Urala. Anirudh Harlalka. Ankit Garg. Anshu Pratik, Anshul Merotra, Anuj Jain, Arvind Shankar, Arijita Bhattacharya, Arush Dhawan, Arvind Pant, Ashish Deswal, Ashish Gupta, Ashish Yadav, Ashu Anant, Ashwat Jayaraman, Avanti Radke, Avinash Nada Kuditi, Bhaskaruni Santosh, Bhuvan Sharma, Brinda Gupta, Chetan Pujari, Diksha Das, Dipendra Singh, Dipesh Mohan, Dharmesh Shah, Dinesh Lakhara, Firoz Ahmed, Forum Sangvi, Hardeep Somal, Hiren Shah, Hani Arora, Jai Kishan Mandani, Joseph Verghese, Jyoti Deka, Kapil Dahiya, Karthik RN, Kaushik Khanna, Khyati Sharma, Manas Mahanta, Manjari Dhond, Mayuresh Mukadam, Mehul Shinde, Mukul Kumar Lule, Mukund Nagaraj, Munish Goel, Naveen CB, Neeraj Mishra, Neetu Barmecha, Neha Arora, Nikhil Kumar, Nikin Kovilakat, Nikunj Agarwal, Nimish Goswami, Pankaj Gaur, Pankaj Gupta, Pooja Rao, Pramathesh Shukla, Prashanto Guha, प्रशस्ति सक्सेना, प्रियदर्शिनी अय्यर, राजगुरु मिल्स, रचित महेश्वरी, राघवेंद्र बी, राहुल गुप्ता, राहुल जेकब, राहुल मिश्रा, राहुल पारीक, राजेश गुसाई, राजकुमार राधाकृष्णन, राजुल शाह, रमन शर्मा, रामस्वामी सतपन, रेखा तंकसला, रोहन आनंद, रोहन भाटे, रोहन शर्मा, रोहित मिलिंद, रोहित सुंकारा, सचित कुमार, साई मटिपल्ले, सक्षम चौधरी, समीर सौरभ, संचिता सिंह, संदीप स्वामी, शाश्वत सरकार, सतीश तिरुमेला, सौम्य दर्शन गुरु, सौरभ जैन, सौरभ मात्रे, सौरभ मिश्रा, सौरभ आर मिश्रा, सौरभ पांडे, श्रावण गांगुली, श्रेया अग्रवाल, श्याम गोविंद, सिमरन चड्ढा, सितेंद्र दीर्घनगी, सोहिनी राव, श्री चैतन्य पेनुगोंडा, शुभंकर देव, सुधांशु प्रसाद, सुरभि कुमारी, स्वप्निल तलाटी, स्वाति गुप्ता, तेजस ईटी, Vaibhav Gupta, Vikas Gulia, Vikram Joshi, Vinita Ambasana, Vishal Khandelwal, Vivek Menon, Vivek Pandey, Yash Khanna, and in absentia Anshul Kumar, Jeevan Gopisetti, and Kaustubh Korde. Mr. Chairperson, I present Abhijit Datta and 136 others who have fulfilled all the requirements for the award of the degree of Master of Business Administration and request the Indian Institute of Management Ahmedabad Board of Governors to confer the degree on them.
Members of the Board of Governors, may the degree be conferred on these candidates. By the authority given to me by the Indian Institute of Management Ahmedabad Board of Governors, I confer on you the degree of Master of Business Administration, and I charge you that in your life, by word and deed, you prove yourselves worthy of it.
The Indian Institute of Management Ahmedabad Gold Medal for Scholastic Performance has been awarded to the following candidate of the full-time one-year postgraduate program in management for executives, who will come forward as his name is called and receive the medal from the chief guest. Ronit Bhattacharya.
Request Professor Kaushik Basu, Professor of Economics and Karl Marx Professor of International Studies at Cornell University, to please deliver the convocation address.
Thank you very much. The only thing I can think of better than getting a degree from an institute of higher learning as famous as the Indian Institute of Management Ahmedabad is giving a convocation address to those who are getting the degree. My heartfelt thanks to you, the director of the Institute, Errol D'Souza, the chairman, Mr. Birla, and members of the Board of Governors, and the professors and students and the parents of the students for giving me the opportunity to be here. Thank you also for the opportunity to return after many years to Ahmedabad. My last visit here was in 2004 on Basant Panchami. I remember the city bathed in festivity, with the sky speckled with kites. This city is one that mirrors the entire country its colorful history and its diversity. So thank you for allowing me to be here. This is indeed, as Mr. Birla earlier said, it's a coveted degree, recognized all over the world. So I begin by congratulating all of you. I should say that as Mr. Birla was speaking, I realized that there are so many overlapping sentiments in what I will say. You may think that we share the same speechwriter, but that is not the case. It's completely independently done. Graduating students, this is a watershed moment in your life, the moment of leaving your nest, home, hostel, family, and teachers, and going out into the big wide world. You will face many challenges in whatever your ambitions happen to be. People have different ambitions. Some of you will want to be entrepreneurs, breaking new grounds, creating new products and services, and new wealth. Some will want to be researchers, looking at our chaotic world and trying to discover the mysterious laws of society and economy, unearthing new ideas and philosophies that could leave a mark on human thinking for many, many years. There will be some who will want to do social work and reach out to those who are marginalized and poor. In pursuing these ends, you will have good times and bad times, days of hope and times of despair. Remember, it is fine to both aspire and also to fail. As was earlier said, you'll have to take risks and you should be prepared to fail. The story of one of the great economists in history, Joseph Schumpeter, illustrates this same principle. Schumpeter had boasted in his youth that he had 3 burning ambitions. He wanted to be the greatest economist in the world. He wanted to be the greatest horseman in Austria, greatest lover in Vienna. In his old age, he is believed to have lamented that he never quite made it as a horseman. Even as an economist, he was a great economist. I would not place him as the greatest economist. But his life illustrates the enormous success he had, along with the failures in several of his ambitions. Drawing on my experience from my personal life and also in the world of policymaking, I want to talk to you about 2 themes for whatever you aspire to in life. These are reason and morals. I want to talk about these 2. Let me begin with reason. I have over the years become convinced that reasoning is the most underutilized of human faculties. We all have the ability, but we somehow allow it dormant. Read some of the discussions and commentary on social media and listen to some of the television debates, and you will wonder where reason has vanished. This is a telling commentary on education and explains why we make so many policy mistakes as well. Even in personal lives, when people suffer from depression or anxiety, when they encounter hurdles in their career and jobs, they take antidepressant pills and rush to go for counseling. I do not deny that there are situations where these are important, but there is also a lot that we can deal with through pure reasoning, reasoning with oneself as clearly and honestly as one can. We do not do enough of this. Within economics, game theory illustrates the power of good reasoning. One important axiom of game theory asserts, and some of you would have done a little bit of this, it is not enough to be rational yourself, but you must realize that other people are likely to be rational as well. Policy mistakes, and I do think demonetization was one of them, which has hurt India's growth, would not have occurred if there were policymakers that paid heed. Simple axiom: for every policy, you have to anticipate how ordinary individuals and also bureaucrats will react. That is the key to designing successful policy mechanisms. I was very pleased to discover this morning that here there are researchers at IIM who work on these kinds of game theoretic problems. And it is truly, I must once again say, the sheer brilliance of the place. I've been talking to a whole lot of people, is breathtaking. Keep up to that. Some years ago, Scientific American asked me to write about game theory and its paradoxes. Game theory is one of the most exciting disciplines that emerged from the interface between economics and mathematics. Some of the original contributions came from mathematicians and logicians, prominently such as Germany's Ernest Zermelo, who in 1912 proved a stunning theorem about the game of chess. Then there was important work you will all know about by John von Neumann, and a little after that by John Nash, who barely published 3 or 4 papers, but prematurely had to put a call a day on his research because by the age of 29, schizophrenia claimed him altogether and he could not write anymore. In writing this article for Scientific American, I thought, how do I convey this important principle, which is the crux of game theory, that it is not good and rational yourself. You must appreciate that other people are rational as well, and which is really the source of a whole lot of policy mistakes. While I was thinking of how to illustrate this for the intelligent readers of Scientific American who may not have any experience of game theory, a friend of mine in Delhi told me a delightful story from somewhere in India. I don't even know where it originated. So I actually began my Scientific American article to illustrate game theory with this example from India. Some of you may have read this, but I don't think your parents would have read it. And it's such a beautiful story that I have to repeat it once again, though I've written about it. The story is that of a hat seller. A hat seller is going from one village to another over an open terrain when he begins to feel very tired. So he puts down all the hats and goes off to sleep. When he wakes up, lo and behold, all the hats have vanished. Where are the hats? He looks up and suddenly realizes that monkeys had come down from a tree and they've picked up all the hats and they've gone up and they are wearing the hats and sitting on the trees. What will he do? He's a poor person. His livelihood depends on selling hats. In complete desperation, he takes off his own hat and flings it down on the ground. At which point, you probably know, monkeys are great imitators. Some of them begin to take off the hat and throw them onto the ground. So he's very happy, he collects them, and he goes his way. That story is finished. 40 years later, his grandson has become a hat seller. He's going from one village to another with a collection of hats to sell. When he feels tired, sets down all the hats, goes off to sleep, wakes up and discovers all the hats are gone. Then he looks up and sees monkeys have come down from the treetop, have taken all the hats and are sitting there wearing them. What will he do? He's a poor man. His livelihood depends on this. When he suddenly remembers that his grandfather's story, what his grandfather had told him. So he takes off his hat, flings it down on the ground. At which point, one monkey comes down, picks up this last hat, puts it under the arm, walks up to this person, gives him a tight slap, and says, "You think only you have a grandfather." It's a trivial story, but the reason I used it in Scientific American is because it illustrates one of the most important principles of game theory, and it is also at the core of many of the mistakes that we make in policy making, which anyone can make, but being aware of this, getting professional input is very, very important. How good professional reasoning is critical for good policy making. I got an illustration of this when I used to be a professor at the Delhi School of Economics and watching the economy completely from outside, had nothing to do with the policy world, and it's purely to do with reasoning. You know, 1991 to 1993 was a market liberalization program in India, a very important one, and I think it's a complete watershed that got the economy moving then onwards. One particular policy to me illustrates nothing but clear thinking. At the same time, you need the details to be worked out by bringing in a lot of professionalism. The illustration is with this: foreign exchange reserves. The dollars and the euros, those times there was no euros, but the dollars and the pounds, the foreign exchange that the India has, which is with the Reserve Bank of India, used to be roughly $5 billion. That was the total stock of India's foreign exchange reserves. For about 20 years, 25 years, if you look at the graph, it's flat, $5 billion. Occasionally it drops a little, becomes a crisis, balance of payments. It picks up a little, you say good times have come, but roughly $5 billion. Policy changes, you seldom see a graph capturing the picture so well. Between 1991 and 1993, there are some wobbles. From 1993-4, that foreign exchange reserve, which used to be $5 billion for 20 years, over the next 20 years, rose to about $300 billion. So the graph looks an amazing break and then it takes off. What happened over there was nothing but at one level pure reasoning, but the design of it was of course important, and the reasoning is the following. For decades, the standard thinking in government and also among a lot of academics was, India has so little foreign exchange that you must not allow people to take foreign exchange out. So there were very strict rules. If you're going abroad to study, you have $25 in your pocket and you go, things like that. Lots of restrictions. What was not being given enough thought is human beings are rational. If you tell individuals and companies that you can't bring foreign exchange into India, first thing they will do, you can't take foreign exchange out of India, the first thing they will do is not bring foreign exchange into India. Because you know that once you've brought it in, it's going to be locked in over here. So the idea struck policymakers that if you allow the country, individuals, to take foreign exchange out, maybe more foreign exchange will come into India. So the policy was designed, the liberalization of the capital market was announced, and I think that made all the difference. You seldom see a break in a graph as dramatic as India's foreign exchange reserves. People started bringing in. Initially, they were a bit nervous. Will the government suddenly go back on its policy? But when they saw that the government was sticking by that, it made a dramatic difference. And India was integrating with the world in a way that had not happened before that. But that's for reason. Students, success is not the only thing you should strive for, you should pursue. This is where my second topic comes up for today, morality. Traditional economics talks a lot about the profit motive and individual rationality. What is often forgotten, but is actually as important for a society's long-run success, is morality and moral principles. Morals and trust and trustworthiness provide the nuts and bolts of society. Without those qualities, you can get some short-run success, but not long-run development. And there are lots of correlation studies. Societies where there is trust and trustworthiness actually have long-run higher growth rates as a consequence of that. Before getting into this topic, let me digress for a moment with a personal story. A former student of mine and now a very prominent social activist, Jean Drèze, recently wrote that he recalled me saying in class some 40 years ago the following, and he's quoting me, that I do economic theory for its own sake, without any illusion that it helps to improve the world we live in. Jean was disappointed in this, and he went on to console himself by saying, and I'm quoting him, I have a feeling that Kaushik has changed his mind on this. He ended up dabbling quite a bit in economic policy and even holding positions that necessarily involve changing the world we live in, unquote. Now, I do not recall quite saying in class what Jean attributes to me, but since that is exactly what I believed in, I think what he said, I must have said in class. The only thing I would disappoint him is I have not changed my mind on this. But let me explain. It is true that when I did research on economics, I did it for its own sake. I know there are more noble people who become economists to change the world for the better, but I was not one of them. I'm not justifying my behavior, but that is the way I was. I found the puzzles of the economy and philosophical paradoxes underlying society so fascinating that understanding them was an aesthetic pursuit, like art or Euclidean geometry. I have to admit I did it for its own sake. I never cared much for money. I can fully understand Paul Samuelson, one of the greatest economists of all times, who also became very rich through his textbook, saying he had, quote, been incredibly lucky throughout his lifetime, unquote, quote, because he was overpaid and underworked. I feel the same because my work as researcher never felt like work. I don't advertise this fact too much because I don't want my employer to cut down my salary, but it is true that it is the pleasure of the work that drives me. So my selfishness was different from that of many other people, but Jean was right. It was selfishness nevertheless. All I can say is that I tried to make up for it later in life. In 2009, when I was chairman of the Department of Economics of Cornell and taking a vacation in India, I got an unexpected phone call from the Prime Minister's office. The caller, a joint secretary, quickly got to the point. Dr. Manmohan Singh wants to know if I would consider being the chief economic advisor to his government. The following day, after I met Dr. Manmohan Singh and had a wonderful meeting, I made a vow to myself. I told myself that since my life till then had been one of pure indulgence in the joys of research and logic and deductive reasoning, if I were to wean myself away from that life, I must do so with only one purpose, that of serving society to the best of my capacity. And that is what I tried to do during my 3 years as policymaker in India and 4 years as policymaker at the World Bank. Looking back, I feel better. Someone told me that most people spend 80% of each day being selfish and 20% on altruistic purposes. If this is true, then I have done much the same, but in a slightly different way. I spent the first 34 years of my working life being totally selfish, and then the next 7 years trying to be completely unselfish, which is roughly the same percentage, 80%, 20% each day. Turning to more serious matters, let me quickly clarify that the morality I'm referring to is instinctive ideas such as compassion and kindness, basic human decency, trustworthiness, humility, and adherence to some form of Immanuel Kant's categorical imperative, which is the principle of treating others the way you wish them to treat you. The basic axiom of European Enlightenment was described, this basic axiom was described beautifully by Kenneth Arrow in the prelude to his famous impossibility theorem. Arrow quoted an inscription on the tombstone of an unknown person requesting God to follow the Kantian principle. And I'm reading out the inscription on the tombstone. Here lies Martin Engelbrod. Have mercy on my soul, Lord God, as I would do were I Lord God and thou were Martin Engelbrod. This is appealing to God to go by the categorical imperative. All this has nothing to do with religion. It is possible to be an atheist, and it is possible to be a theist and a religious person and have these morals in you. These are some basic human instincts. In the rough and tumble of everyday life, in trying to be successful at any cost, many people push aside all morality. We see this among politicians who try to win elections at all costs. We see this among business persons who try to earn more profit at all costs. This is the cause of many of society's woes. Indeed, for long-run success of a society, it is essential to have individual drives, but also to have moral anchors on which you lead your everyday life. Let me briefly turn to India's economy to illustrate some of these arguments, both of reason and of morality. There are unmistakable signs of India's economy slowing down. The latest data on industrial growth released by the government pertaining to January 2019 shows that India's industry is barely growing, with the growth rate down to 1.7%. In the year 2017-2018, India's exports were a little less than India's exports in the year 2013-2014. This is all official data, which means a growth rate of exports over a 4-year period of virtually 0% per annum. What is happening to overall growth? Well, GDP is growing reasonably, though the last quarter growth rate has been lowered by the government. But we do know from a lot of studies of the informal and unorganized sector that that is doing very, very poorly. The agricultural sector is doing very poorly. And above all, the big problem is really the job situation, which is quite dire. The job creation is not taking place adequately. I mean, you people are at the top. You probably will not feel that pressure, but that pressure is being felt across the country, and you have to have some sympathy for this. This has been written about, and we have to, on jobs, I must emphasize, there's a lot of heartburn going on that we are not getting good enough data. And I can't emphasize the importance of that to you, especially because when I was at the World Bank, and as the chief economist, I was getting data pouring in from all around the world. On statistical data collection, India is a global leader. The integrity, the statistical process through which the data is collected is just wonderful. There are conceptual difficulties. Work is hard to define, so you'll have some problems through that. But the data collection is globally recognized that India really matches up to industrialized countries. And if you don't believe me, I could quote over here the Nobel Prize winner Angus Deaton in an article with Valerie Kozel in 2005, gave tribute to India for statistical work which is pioneering the worldwide. And I'm quoting him, NSSO surveys pioneered by Mahalanobis in the 1940s and 50s were the world's first, and this is including rich countries, household surveys to apply the principles of random sampling. So statistical techniques were being used in a very sophisticated way in India at that time. We must take care not to lose this and damage this reputation that we have. None of all this is necessary. India's fundamentals are extremely strong, and we should be doing much better. Even on exports, this is not the place to go into detailed discussion, but little bits of the exchange rate policy and such details, which do require a lot of professional input, can allow us to make corrections which would begin to give us big boosts in these sectors, but we need to do that. The two reasons why some of this faltering is happening is the shortage of professional and a disproportionate focus on big businesses and their interests. The first pertains to reason, and the second to normative moral issues. Professionalism means policy making based on data and reasoning. The economy is too complex to be handled by hunch and gut feeling. Passion is important, but you cannot have exports booming, jobs being created by passion alone. Expertise and professionalism are critical. Make no mistake, business and enterprise are important. Big business is also a fact of today's world of technology and technological advance, and that is going to become bigger. The world is going, and that's a part of life. But in trying to nurture business and enterprise, we must not neglect the poor and the unorganized sector. India is still largely an agricultural nation, and it is sad to see this sector suffering. India's long-run prospects are excellent. I feel we can be a global leader. I must add that I want India to be a leader not just to enrich itself, but to be a force for good of the world. The aim should be to provide leadership for a better world, a world of prosperity, equality, and sharing. As you, the students of IIM, go out into the world, you will have your own ambitions, but harbor somewhere in your heart the ambition for goodness in India and goodness across the world. India's is a remarkable history. Around the time that we got independence, several nations in Asia, in Africa, in the Americas also gained independence. Many of these nations wanted to be open and democratic. It is an amazing fact of history that the only new nation of that time that has managed to hold on virtually unbroken to the democracy, secularism, free speech for all this time is India, India alone. We were lucky to have open-minded founding fathers like Gandhi and Nehru, and thinkers with global humanity like Rabindranath Tagore. They had their own struggles, each of them had their own struggles, but in the end, they strove to build a nation that was open to all religions, all races, and tried, they were not successful, to banish the divisions of caste and gender. Did India do right by holding on to democracy, secularism, free speech, and emphasis on good quality higher education, which India was actually among emerging nations right in the forefront? Did India do right to emphasize these so early? I do not have a definite answer, but I do know that nations like the United States, by holding on to these qualities, did phenomenally well in the long run. In the early 20th century, around 1914-15, just before the start of World War I, Argentina and United States stood neck to neck in terms of economic status, per capita income. US was ahead, but barely ahead. Argentina was in the top 10 countries and growing faster than virtually any other country. Many observers at that time were predicting that Argentina would become the global leader. But within a few decades, it was clear that United States had far outstripped Argentina. There is a lot of analysis of this period of history and what happened, and there is now an emerging consensus that two factors played a role. Argentina fell prey to hyper-nationalism and hyper-protectionism and xenophobia, which affected its policy judgments. And further, it did not invest nearly as much as the United States did in higher education, research, and the space for new ideas. On that, America was really putting in a lot of money and effort into that. And you can see China beginning to do that in this sector in a big way now. My point is simple. Whether or not the early investment in democracy, secularism, free speech, and higher education was right, having made these investments, we must not fall into the trap of narrow-mindedness and begin to imitate nations that do not value these qualities and make ourselves in the image of those nations. On February 8, 1994, on the occasion of receiving the Indira Gandhi Prize, Václav Havel, Czechoslovakia's great revolutionary who helped overthrow the totalitarian control over Czechoslovakia and later became the country's president, spoke in India about his admiration for India and its founding fathers, and how India's victory was a great victory for the ideas of nonviolence, tolerance, coexistence, and understanding. I'm quoting Václav Havel. He went on to say, quote, "I'm convinced that the creation of multicultural civilization that I've talked about, the creation of conditions based on mutual respect and tolerance of different cultures, will always find one of the important sources of its vitality, the worldwide, in Gandhi's works." India commands a huge global respect for its polity of openness and tolerance. There are forces at work in the country that want to destroy this and make us in the image of failed nations. You, the students of IIM, by virtue of your excellent education, have a special responsibility on your shoulders. The responsibility to reject narrow sectarianism, uphold scientific thinking, openness to new ideas, freedom of speech, and morals in everyday life. I hope you will succeed in your careers. And there is, of course, satisfaction in success. But there is no joy, no happiness comparable to the joy and happiness of knowing that we have contributed in even a small way during our brief journey on earth to the legacy of leaving a better world for all of humanity. Thank you very much.
Professor Kaushik Basu, that was a really charged and very magical speech. I'm finding it hard to stand here in front of you, all of you after that. Mr. Kumar Mangalam Birla, the IIMA board members, my faculty colleagues, officers and staff of the Institute, IIMA family members and friends of the graduating students yourselves, ladies and gentlemen, greetings. I'll spend a little bit of time just recounting a few of the things that have happened over the past year on the campus. Since the last convocation, a new batch of students have been accompanied by a 10% increase in the number of faculty who, along with their colleagues, have been busy creating new academic courses whilst presenting their research at various conferences. At the rate that faculty travel for consulting and conferences, I sometimes wonder if travel services may be deemed to be a core department at the Institute. Faculty involvement in executive education has also significantly increased. In this year, we have delivered more than 200 executive education programs for 7,000 participants from 21 countries. Not all of these were reruns. 10 new open enrollment programs were offered on themes such as fintech, R&D management, HR analytics, etc. We offered blended learning executive education programs combining e-learning with a face-to-face component comprising 5 programs over 300 days. A change in the measurement criteria used by the Financial Times saw a slide in the rankings for our one-year full-time program for executives. The Financial Times, however, has a composite rank that takes into account the quality across the breadth of the portfolio of B-School programs. And here, we are ranked ahead of other management institutes in India and are at the 4th position in the Asia-Pacific region. The FT in 2018 has also ranked us in the top 50 MBAs for entrepreneurship in the world, and in the top 20 in the Masters in Management. The Food and Agribusiness Management program continues to be ranked at the #1 position. In the India rankings announced by the National Institutional Ranking Framework, we continue to rank at the #1 position in the management category in 2018. The doctoral program organized many research workshops and courses under the aegis of our visiting chair professor positions. Professor Pradeep Chintagunta of Chicago Booth was the HUL chair professor in marketing. Professor Fanish Puranam of INSEAD, the Lalbhai chair professor in strategy. Professor Jonathan Gosling, the Chandrika Tandon Chair Professor in Leadership, and Professor Prabala, the Edelweiss Chair Professor in Finance over the last academic year. There were a number of international conferences and workshops held on the campus on topics such as ICT for development, creativity and innovation at grassroots, advances in healthcare management services, and network science in economics and finance, where researchers from various parts of the world participated. The Association for Consumer Research Society of North America held its conference on the campus, where leading researchers in marketing and consumer behavior presented academic papers. Students organized the Red Brick Summit, which saw over 30,000 footfalls in campus for 16 events, including workshops for Google and digital marketing, digital banking and innovation, building social enterprises, design thinking, etc. Speakers included the Honorable Defense Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, Supreme Court lawyer Shyam Devan, social activist Medha Patkar, journalist Rajdeep Sardesai, and Anant Maheshwari, the president of Microsoft India, to name a few. The one-year full-time program participants made Connections the brand of panel discussions on strategy, marketing, and entrepreneurship at the Red Brick Summit. The IIMA SRK annual lecture was delivered by Professor Sir Partha Dasgupta on human well-being and economic accounting. The Honorable former President of India, Shri Pranab Mukherjee, taught a course on public policy for inclusive development in India, along with Professors Anil Gupta and Vijay Sherry Chand. Other eminent speakers included the chairman of the 15th Finance Commission. Dear students, you're stepping out to join organizations that will require your total commitment. You will be compensated adequately, but will find that you are constantly pressed for time, much like your experience at IIMA. You will be in the money, and simultaneously, the long working hours will keep you in time poverty. I surmise that this is behind youngsters such as yourselves being on the lookout for collecting quality experiences rather than spending money on the desirable goods that were valued by an earlier generation. Accumulating memories has become more important than accumulating things. A consequence of pursuing experiences where the quality of the encounter is the goal is that you tend to rely on your feelings. Always trust your feelings, said Misopolis sometime in the 1st century, and that pronouncement sounds sensible. I would caution, however, that feelings are always compelling, but not always reliable. They are known to misrepresent reality, divest us of insight, and may unnecessarily damage our relationships. In the ultimate, it is important to be aware that it is not the event itself, but the way in which we think about it and interpret its significance that can do damage to us. Much like the case method is about raising pertinent questions, in life too, happiness requires us to question our feelings. That way we can ensure that we do not allow our feelings, which are of course real, to lead us astray. Professor Basu has reminded us of the importance of reason. So do keep in mind that nothing that life throws at you can make you miserable unless you think it so, and nothing brings happiness unless you are content with it. Life, as you well know, has a way of creating unexpected events, events that Nassim Taleb likens to the appearance of a black swan, when based on your past experience, you assumed that all swans were white. It is good to welcome them as a challenge that helps us to learn, adapt, and flourish. We may not be able to overcome all the stress and shocks that come by our way, but they require our vigorous response, and at the very least, they will make us resilient, an increasingly important trait in an ever-changing world. Chance does play a role in our endeavors, but as you know by its very nature, you are not in a position to influence it. It is how you respond to it that will shape your identity and your relationships. In the light of the changes that are taking place in our public sphere, always recall the principle in philosophy called the principle of charity, which says that one should interpret other people's sentiments in their best, most reasonable form, not in the worst or most offensive way possible. That requires us to question our initial reactions, look for evidence, and give people the benefit of doubt, rather than to be caught in the initial flash of emotional reaction. As Professor Basu said, do not fall into the trap of narrow-mindedness. It may seem that all three of us had the same speechwriter, but that is again not the case. It's just chance. I had the good fortune to spend a good part of a year teaching at a university in Paris. The university provided me a generous accommodation at Saint-Michel, a few minutes' walk from the Louvre Museum. I had the opportunity to visit the museum often and to see the Mona Lisa, easily the most famous painting in the world. There were always visitors jostling for a closer look at the painting, and adjacent galleries, which had other paintings by Leonardo da Vinci and many other famous artists, were often ignored. To my untutored eye, these other paintings seemed no worse than the Mona Lisa with her enigmatic smile. I later found that the dice of nature had played in favor of the Mona Lisa, which had been an obscure painting for most of its early life. The painting got into the spotlight when it was involved in a theft by an Italian maintenance worker at the Louvre named Vincenzo Perugia, who tucked it under his smock before leaving for work one evening. The theft was unsolved until Perugia was taken into custody 2 years later for attempting to sell the painting to the famous Uffizi Gallery in Florence. This charged up the French, whilst the Italians hailed Perugia as a patriot who wanted to return the painting home. The newspapers around the world splashed the story and made it the first artwork to achieve global fame. From then on, the painting became a symbol of Western culture, just sheer luck. I hope it is clear that I am urging you not to wait for Lady Luck to favor you, but to continually strive to motivate yourselves towards effort and perseverance in the possible face of adversity. The belief that everyone will get their just deserts is valuable for any society, as the view that success is a function of effort will make people expect little redistribution and motivate them to contribute in their economic lives in ways that turn out to be valuable for all of us. My urge is for you to think about the role of external forces on the basis of where you are in the life cycle. David Brooks put this well. You should regard yourself as the sole author of all your future achievements and as the grateful beneficiary of all your past successes. You should start life with the illusion that you are completely in control of what you do. You should finish life with the recognition that all in all, you got better than what you deserved. As an ambitious executive, it's important that you believe that you will deserve credit for everything you achieve. As a human being, it's important for you to know that's nonsense. So let me end by making an unusual wish, which is that you do experience bad luck from time to time, so that you are aware of the part that luck plays in life and understand that your success is not wholly deserved, and moreover, that the failure of others is not wholly deserved. Whether I wish it or not, you will have painful experiences, but they will make you better persons. You will learn to attach importance to justice when you are treated unfairly, and about compassion when you experience pain. There are lessons in the adversity you will come across, and it is up to you to be aware of that and thereby to benefit from their experience. I and my colleagues are going to miss your presence on campus and the interactions we had. It was your batch that introduced me to the band Local Train, and it would be appropriate to quote to you a short verse from their song, Khudi. Likh de ye fasana, dekhe jo zamana, तारों से आगे हो ख्वाबों का ठिकाना. Okay? So go write the story that the world will see. Okay? Okay. In return, allow me to share a verse from a balladeer of my student days, Bob Dylan. Okay? Okay? May you be righteous. May you grow up to be true. May you always know the truth and the light surrounds you. May you always be courageous. Stand upright and be strong. And may you stay forever young. May your hands always be busy. May your feet always be swift. May you have a strong foundation when the winds of changes shift. May your heart always be joyful. May your song always be sung. And students, may you stay forever young. Okay? Okay. Congratulations to you and to your families. Good luck and the very best from all of us here.
Gentlemen and ladies, please rise for national anthem.
जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंग विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उज्ज्वल जलधि तरंग तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
I declare the convocation closed.
ये तो अग्र
बात